Good morning, everyone. We have completed Unit 4. So, Unit 4 is about storage management. In Unit 4, we saw about disk storage, its structure, the disk scheduling algorithm, and some disk management techniques which are used for it. Then, file system interface. In that, we saw about file system implementation, file system structure, directory implementation, disk and directory structure. The next we saw about free space management. What are the techniques used for it? All those we have seen in the fourth unit. This we have completed unit 4. Today we shall discuss about the problems. First we shall discuss about the IIT 1 problem. Okay. Because in IIT 1 I saw many have written some problems wrongly. So we can discuss about these problems so that you might know how to do this problem in semester exam and all. Okay. This is the memory allocation problem. Many have written correctly. So in the question is given for IIT 1. They have given some partition as given in this figure. It has some partitions and we are having 5 different processes and its memory. So we are having 5 different process and its memory is given. So the question is given to allocate using best fit and worst fit algorithm. So best fit means how it will be allocated. It will be searching for the memory partition which is enough for the process to accommodate in the memory location. So it will be starting from the process P1. We see the process P1 is of capacity 560 kilobyte. So we will look into the partition which has nearly this 560 kilobyte, that is nearly greater than this value. PC means this 570 is nearly greater than. So this process P1 occupies 570 kilobyte partition. Next the process P2 is 275 kilobytes. So if we see the nearly greater than memory location, starting from the first to the last, you can see this 300 kilobyte is the memory partition which is fit enough for this P2. Then for P3, while going through this, we can see 250. It is enough partition. Then for P4, we'll be going from the starting to the end. P4 is of size 100 kilobyte. In this partition, we are having 150 kilobyte, which is enough to hold it. And the next we are having, the last process will be P5. This P5 is of 350 kilobyte. So this 350 kilobyte, we are having the exact memory partition, 350 kilobyte. In that, this P5 process can accommodate this in case of best fit algorithm. Next, if you see the worst fit algorithm means, so what will this burst fit algorithm will see? It will first look into the big enough partition. Okay, we are having the first process P1 of 500 kilobyte. It will be allocated in a biggest partition, that is 570 kilobyte. In that this process P1 will be allocated, and next to the process P2 of 275 kilobyte will be occupied in next to highest partition, that is 400 kilobyte. And after this the process P3 will come. Process P3 will be accommodated in the next highest partition, that is 370 kilobyte. And then the process P4 will be accommodated in the next highest partition, that is 300 kilobyte. And if you see the process P5, it is of 350 kilobyte. You see the next highest partition is 250 kilobyte. This 250 kilobyte is not enough for this process P5. We see the another partition 150 kilobyte. It is even smaller than this 350 kilobyte. So we can't allocate the process P5 using this algorithm. So you have to, I have simply given the last answer key, but in the exam and all you have to write step by step each step by step how this process P1 will be allocated, process P2 will be allocated. Along with that, you have to write some lines also, how it is allocated, okay, using this best fit and worst fit. Depending upon the mark, it is asked, you have to explain that best fit and worst fit algorithm. Here we have asked only for 6 marks, so it is enough here to explain to to write each step for process allocation. Suppose the three algorithm, this first fit, best fit, worst fit, this three algorithm itself can be asked in 16 mark. If it is asked in such case, means you have to write the clear explanation of this algorithm along with the problem. Okay, so problem தனியா algorithm problem தனியா explanation தனியா இல்லாம உங்க ப்ராப்ளமோட சேர்ந்து அந்த எக்ஸ்பிளேஷனை டீட்டெயிலா டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும். In some cases they may ask first fit, best fit and worst fit algorithm in 16 mark. If it is asked in 16 mark, means you have to explain it elaborately depending upon that 16 mark. If you explain it so that only you will be getting that mark. Okay, next problem, you see this page replacement algorithm. This problem only many have written wrongly, this page replacement algorithm. I don't know why. So in the question, the reference string is given and they have asked to do the page replacement algorithm using optimal algorithm and find how many faults. So first we will see the reference string, and in the question also it is given we are having 3 frames. So initially we will be drawing a memory block of 3 frames. So everyone listen carefully this problem because many have done mistake in this problem. So I will explain it in a slowly itself. So everyone listen. So here in this problem, first we are having 3 frames in the block. First in the reference string we are having 8. So this 8 will occupy the first frame, and next we are having 9. This 9 will occupy the second frame. Next we are having 5. This 5 will occupy the fifth frame. So according to this optimal algorithm, how page will be replaced? To see the future pages which won't be used for a longest period of time. Okay, this optimal algorithm will see the future pages which won't be used for a longest period of time. Okay, so keep that in mind. So here at the third instant, if you see 8, 9 and 5, the frame is full, and next we are having this the page 3. So we want to accommodate this page 3 in the frame. For that, in the frame already we are having 8, 9 and 5. So using this optimal algorithm, we have to see whether this 8 or 9 or 5 which won't be used for a longest period of time. If you see like that, we'll be seeing the future pages. See, after 3 we are having 7. This is not in the frame, so we can leave it. After the 7 we are having 5. It is in the frame, so we shouldn't replace this fifth frame. And next we are having 3. This is also not in the frame, so leave it. Then we are having 1. This is also not in the frame, leave it. And then we are having 3, not in the frame, leave it. And then we are having 8. So we shouldn't replace 8. So already we have seen we shouldn't replace page 5 as well as 8. Other than this page 5 and 8, what is the other page we are having in the frame? That is 9. So this 9th frame is replaced by the newly incoming third page. Okay. So likewise here we are having 8, 3, 5 in the frame. So next string is, in the string we are having page 7. So this page 7 is not in the frame, so we have to insert it into the frame. So for this we'll be seeing the future pages which won't be used for a longest period of time. So in the frame already we are having 8, 3, 5. So you have to check whether this 8, 3, 5 which won't be used for a longest period of time. So after 7 you see means we are having 5. So this fifth page is going to be used immediately, so it shouldn't be replaced. And next you are having, after 5 you are having 3. So this 3 also shouldn't be replaced. So this 5 and 3 shouldn't be replaced. Other than this, what we are having? We are having 8. So we can replace this page 8 by the page 7. Okay. Next, after the 7 in the reference string, we are having page 5. This page 5 is available in the frame. So we shouldn't replace it. We shouldn't need to include it also because we are having already in the frame. So there won't be any page fault. Next, we are having 3. This 3 is also available in the frame already. So we shouldn't replace or we shouldn't include it. Next one. You see this one, it is not in the frame. So we have to replace some other page with this page 1. So we have to choose which page we are going to replace. For that, if you see in the frame we are having 735. Okay. The 735, if you see the future pages, after 1 we are having 3. So this 3 is used immediately. After this 3 we are having 8. So 8 is also not available in the frame. So we shouldn't consider it. And next 1 we are having. This 1 is also not in the frame. And next 9 we are having. This 9 is also not in the frame. Next 5 we are having. So this 3 and 5 shouldn't be replaced. So other than this, what is the page available in the frame? 7. So we can replace this page 7 by 1. So the new block contains the frames 1, 3, 5. Okay. And after this one, what we are having? Page 3. So this page 3 is already in the frame. So there is no need to generate a page fault. After this we are having page 8. So this page 8 is not in the frame. So we have to bring this page 8 into the frame. For that, what we'll be doing? We'll be seeing the future pages. So here in this case, already the content of the frame is 135. So we have to check whether this 135 is not used for a longest period of time. So if you see it like that means after 8 we are having 1. So this 1 shouldn't be replaced. After 1 we are having 9. This 9 is not in the frame. So we no need to bother about it. So next we are having 5. It is also not in the frame. No need to bother. And next we are having 3. So this 3 and 1 is a page which is going to be used within a short period of time. So other than this 3, sorry. So if you see the 1 and 5, sorry, I will repeat it again. We need to insert this page 8 in the frame. So in this case, before inserting this page 8 into the frame, we are having 135. So we have to check whether this 135, which won't be used for a longest period of time. If you see like that, after this 8, we are having first page. This first page is going to be used immediately. So we shouldn't replace this first page. And after this first page, we are having 9 in the reference string. This 9 is not available in the frame. So we no need to bother about it. After this 9, we are having 5. This 5 and 1 are the pages in the frame which going to be used within a short period of time. So we shouldn't replace this 1 and 5 in the frame. Okay. So what is the other frame which is available? 3. So we can replace this 3 by 8. Okay. Next, if you see in the reference string we are having 1. So this 1 is already available in the frame. So no need to bother. Now after this we are having 9. This 9 is not in the frame. So we need to bring it into the frame. So for that we will be seeing the future pages. So after this 9, if you see, we are having 5. So this 5 is in the block. So this 5 shouldn't be replaced. And after this 5, we are having 3. It is not in the block. So no need to worry about it. And after this, we are having 9. It is also not in the block. So no need to worry about it. And after this 9, we are having 3. 3 also is not in the block. So no need to worry. Next, we are having 5. This 5 we have already seen it. And next we are having 1. So this 1 and 5 are the pages which is going to be used within a shortest period of time. So what is the other frame available other than 1 and 5? We are having 8. So we can replace this 8 with this page 9 in the frame. Okay. Now the newly block contains the content 1, 9 and 5. So after this 9 we are having 5. Okay. This 5 is already available in the frame. So no need for any replacement at all. After this 5 we are having 3. So this 3 is not available in the frame. What is the content available? 1, 9 and 5. So in among these 1, 9 and 5 pages, we need to replace any one page with this 3. So after this 3, if you see, we are having 9. This 9 is going to be used for a shortest period of time. So we shouldn't replace this 9. After this 9, we are having 3. It is not in the frame, so no need to bother. And after this, we are having 5. So this 5 and 9 are the frames which is going to be used immediately or for a shortest period of time. So we shouldn't replace 9 and 5. So what is the other frame? 1 is the other frame. So we need to replace this page 1 by the page 3. Then the newly formed block will be 3, 9 and 5. Okay. And after this 3 in the reference string, we are having 9. This 9 is already available in the frame. So no need for any page replacement and all. And after this 9 in the reference string, we are having 3. This 3 is also available in the frame. So no need for page replacement. Then after this 3, we are having 5. This 5 is also available in the frame. No need for replacement. And after this 5, we are having 1. So this 1 is not available in the frame. So here we need a page replacement. So we will be seeing the future pages. So at this instant, if you see, what are the contents of the block 3, 9 and 5? We are having the pages 3, 9 and 5. So we have to see whether this 3, 9 and 5, which page won't be used for a longest period of time. If you see after this 9, 1, we are having 8 in the reference string. It is not in the frame, so no need to bother. And after this 8, we are having 7. It is also not in the frame, so no need to bother. And after this 7, we are having 8. It is also not in the frame, so no need to bother. And after this 8, we are having 1. It is also not in the frame, so no need to bother. In this case, see, we don't have this 3, 9 and 5 pages in the future string at all. So in this case, you can replace any one pages. Okay. So normally we can prefer to be replacing the first page. Okay. If we replace the first page means there is a third page. Okay. There is a first frame. What is the content of the first frame? 3. So here I am just replacing the 3 with 1. Because among this 3, 9 and 5, this 3, 9 and 5 is not going to be used at all in the reference string. Okay. The 3, 9, 5 என்ன பண்ண போறது இல்ல, நம்ம இந்த ரெஃபரன்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல கடைசி வரைக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ண போறது இல்ல. சோ அப்ப இந்த கேஸ்ல என்ன பண்ணலாம்னா, நம்ம ரேண்டமா ஏதாவது ஒரு ஃப்ரேம் எடுத்து நான் பண்ணிக்கலாம். சோ அதுல நான் இந்த கேஸ் என்ன பண்றேன்னா, நான் ரேண்டமாவே ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃப்ரேம்ல உள்ள பேஜை ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்றேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃப்ரேம்ல என்ன பேஜ் இருக்கு? 3. So I am replacing this page 3 with page 1. So the newly framed block contains 1, 9 and 5. So the next we are having 8. So this 8 is not in the frame. So we need to replace any page with this 8. So now we can see the future pages because our frame content is 1, 9 and 5. So now we can see the future pages. After 8 we are having 7. It is not in the frame, so no need to bother. After 7 we are having 8 in the reference string. This is also not in the frame, so no need to bother. After this 8 we are having 1. This is the reference string. So this first frame, so this first page shouldn't be replaced. Other than this first page, you can replace any page at all. I am randomly just replacing it with the second frame. That is the 8th. 9th frame is replaced by the 8th frame. So 9th page வெளியே போயிட்டு 8th frame 8th page நான் frame குள்ள கொண்டு வரேன். Okay. So 1 தவிர நீங்க அந்த 9 இல்ல 5 எதனாலுமே நீங்க replace பண்ணலாம். நான் ஒரு ஆர்டர் படி just நான் செகண்ட் நான் சூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். Okay. So after this 8th page, the reference string we are having 7. So the 7 is also not available in the frame. So to bring that page 7 into the frame, we have to see the future pages. So if you see the future pages, we are having 8. So this 8 in the page shouldn't be replaced. And after this 8 in the reference string, we are having 1. So this 1 in the frame also shouldn't be replaced. So other than this 8 and 1 pages, we can replace the 5th page by the 7th page. So I'm replacing the 5th page by the 7th page. Okay, after the 7 in the reference string, I'm having page 8. So this page 8 is already in the frame. So no need for replacement at all. Then after this 8, I'm having page 1 in the reference string. It is also already in the frame. So no need for replacement. So now I can count the number of page fault by the newly framed blocks. If I count like this, I'll be getting 12 page fault. Okay. So I hope now everyone will be clear with this. If you have any doubt in this optimal page replacement algorithm, you can ask me, because many have done mistake in this particular problem. So anyone has doubt can ask me. Can unmute your volume and ask me. No response till now. Then I hope everyone is clear with this explanation. Okay, next I shall go to the next problem. So next problem, round robin algorithm also many have written correctly. But I don't know whether you have written on your own or you have copied. So for that I will explain it, okay? So in this round robin algorithm, first I have taken the time quantum with 4 milliseconds. Okay. In this round robin scheduling algorithm, many haven't done the analysis part. So in the question, what is asked? Calculate the average waiting time and average turnaround time for the given process, and we have to analyze for the both the time quantum, that is 4 millisecond and second millisecond. Many haven't done that analysis part. So you have to analyze, no? So depending upon the average waiting time and average turnaround time. Here in this problem, the average waiting time and the average turnaround time for both the time quantum. Say time quantum is equal to 4 millisecond and time to quantum is equal to 2 millisecond is same. So here we can say whether the time quantum is 4 or 2. The average waiting time and the average turnaround time is same. So we can prefer any one time quantum, either 4 or 2. But if you see, the response time means, okay, here what is varying? The response time is varying. If you see the response time means, I hope everyone can see the both the problems with the time quantum 4 and 2 in the screen. See the response time for both the time quantum variation 4 and 2 millisecond. For time quantum with 4 millisecond, you can see the process P1 has response time 0. The process P2 has response time 3. See, for that process P2 in time quantum with 2 millisecond, we are having 2 response time. That's a 2 millisecond is your response time. Sorry, for process P2 we are having 1 millisecond the response time. So time quantum 4 millisecond இருக்கும்போது process P2 ஓட response time என்ன இருக்கு 3 millisecond இருந்தது. Process P2 ஓட response time time quantum 2 millisecond இருக்கும்போது 1 millisecond இருக்கு. So அப்போ ஒரு process arrive ஆனதிலிருந்து system எந்த கேஸ்ல அதிகமா ரெஸ்பாண்ட் பண்ணுது? So இது ரெண்டையும் கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது you can say with the response time also. So எந்த கேஸ்ல நம்ம response time கம்மியா இருக்கு? Time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. Because in the problem we are having the average waiting time and turnaround time equal for both the time quantum 2 millisecond and 4 millisecond. So then we have to go with the response time. So response time each and every process க்கு நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா which has minimum response time, this time quantum is equal to 2. In that case only we'll be having minimum response time. So all the process no need to starve in the system. We have seen about the concept starvation. Starvation means the process arrive the system and it is waiting for a long duration of time to get executed in the CPU. So that condition is known as starvation. That is, the process is starving for execution in CPU. Okay. So here in this case, starvation is maximum in case of time quantum is equal to 4 millisecond. It is minimum in case of time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. So we can prefer time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. Okay. So like that you have to analyze the problem also. The question is asked, you have to analyze means not only by calculating all these values. Simply writing you can gain the mark. You have to analyze not only based on the in this case the waiting time and turnaround time same. There's an average waiting time and turnaround time. So then we can look into the response time, because this response time is a factor which mainly concentrates on starvation. Okay, so by that you can say this time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond is one of the best one for this, for these six process in this case of arrival time and burst time. Like that you have to write the justification. Okay, so this sort of justification should be given. So based on the problem and based on their waiting time and turnaround time and response time, we have to justify. Okay. So now I shall go to the problem. First we'll see the problem with 4 millisecond. Here the time quantum 4 millisecond. What will happen? Each and every process will be executing for the given time quantum, that is 4 millisecond. So first in the system we are having process P1, the arrival time 0. So first this process P1 only will be at the time 0. So this process P1 will be executing with the time quantum 4 millisecond. That is from 0 to 4 we'll be having the process P1. Okay. So first we are having process P1. So in the queue also first we'll be entering P1. After this P1 what we are having? That is at 4th millisecond. After this process P1 executing from 0 to 4 millisecond, we'll be having at 4 millisecond. If you see, the newly arrived process will be P2, P3, P4, P5. Because this P5 is the process which has arrival time 4. So up to this the process may arrive the system. So in the queue after P1 you will be writing P2, P3, P4, P5. Okay. So this P1 process has completed only 4 millisecond of execution. Remaining there will be a 4 millisecond of execution. Then this P1 process will be added at the queue after P5. Okay. Then in the order of the queue, the next process P2 will be executed. This P2 will be executed for the given time quantum, that is 4 millisecond. So from 4 to 8 millisecond, P2 process will be executed. And then for the next process in the queue, we are having P3. This P3 has a burst time itself 2 millisecond. So this P3 will be executed for 2 millisecond, that is 8 to 10. And next process in the P4 is, in the queue is P4. So this P4 burst time itself is 1 millisecond. So it will be executed for 10 to 1. See here, this P2, P3, P4 has completed its execution within the time quantum or before the time quantum. So only I didn't add this process P2, P3, P4 and all at the end of the queue, because it doesn't have any remaining time to be executed. So only I didn't add that at those process in the queue. So after this P4 I am having P5 the queue. So this P5 burst time is already 3 millisecond. So this P5 with a burst time 3 millisecond from 11 to 14 will be executed. After this P5, what is in the queue? P1. See here, this P6 process arrived at 5th millisecond itself. So we have to add this P6 process after P1 in the queue. Okay. So now P1 will be executed for the time quantum 4 millisecond. That is 14 to 18. And thus the process P1 has completed its execution. Remaining we are having only the process P6. It will be executed for its burst time. This is 2 millisecond only. So for from 18 to 20, this process P6 will be executed. Thus we have drawn the Gantt chart, and I hope everyone know how to calculate the completion time. So completion time we have to see from the reverse, from the back side of the Gantt chart. We have to see this P1 process gets completed at what time, this P2, like that you will be writing the completion time. Then turnaround time can be determined by using the formula of each and every process simply by calculating CT minus AT, that is completion time minus arrival time. Then for waiting time also we can use the formula completion time minus burst time. Then for response time, what we'll be doing, we'll be seeing into the Gantt chart. For each and every process with respect to the arrival time, we'll be seeing when that particular process received its first response from the CPU. You see like that, here we are having process P1. So this process P1 arrives the system at 0th millisecond. So at 0th millisecond itself, the process P1 got its first response. It started its execution in the CPU. So the response time is 0. Then the P2 arrival time is 1 millisecond. See in the Gantt chart at what millisecond this P2 process start executed at 4th millisecond. So from 1 to 4, the process P2 has waited. So 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. It is a response time for process P2. Next, for P3, if you see, the arrival time is 2 millisecond. If you see in the Gantt chart, the process P3 started its execution at 8 millisecond. So, from 2 millisecond to 8 millisecond, this process P3 waited in the system for getting execution. So, what is the response time? 8 minus 2, that is 6 millisecond is the response time. And the next up, for P4, if you see, the arrival time is 3 millisecond. If you see the Gantt chart, the P4 process starts at 10th millisecond. So from 3 millisecond to 10th millisecond, the process P4 waited in the system for getting its first response. So the response time will be 10 minus 3, that is 7 millisecond. And then the process P5, if you see, it arrives the system at 4 millisecond. That is from 4 millisecond to if you see in the Gantt chart, the process P5 started its execution at 11th millisecond. So from 4 millisecond to 11th millisecond, the process waited in the system for getting its first response. So 11 minus 4 is equal to 7. This is the response time for process P5. And next for process P6, the arrival time is 5th millisecond. The process P6 arrived at 5th millisecond and it started its execution. If you see in the Gantt chart, you can see 18th millisecond. So it arrived the system at 5th millisecond and executed at 18th millisecond. So from 5th to 18th millisecond, it waited in the system. So 18 minus 5, 13 millisecond is the response time for process P6. Okay. So simply you can calculate the average by adding all those turnaround time and dividing by 6. You can calculate the average turnaround time. For waiting time also, you can add all those waiting time for the 6th process and divide by 6. Okay, next, if you see the time quantum for 2 millisecond, it is also the same procedure. So here only some might have get confused for allocating it because here there will be more number of context switching. So in the analysis, you can also compare with the context switching. So here in the both the cases, if you see means for the time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond and time quantum is equal to 4 millisecond, which algorithm, sorry, or which Gantt chart has more number of context switching? This time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. Normally, we'll be preferring minimum context switching. So, which has minimum context switching? Time quantum is equal to 4 millisecond. So, in case of time context switching, this time quantum is equal to 4 millisecond is better compared to time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. But in case of response time, that is to avoid the process to starve in the system, which is best one? Time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. Like this, you have to analyze by comparing the waiting time, turnaround time, response time, and the number of context switches. So, what do you mean by context switches? See in the Gantt chart for both the cases. So, இங்க Gantt chartல பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு ப்ராசஸ்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு ப்ராசஸ் சிபியூல எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகுது எவ்வளவு டைம் ஸ்விட்ச் ஆயிட்டே இருக்கு நம்ம எவ்வளவு தூரம் அடிக்கடி நம்ம போட்டுட்டே இருக்கோம் அப்படி பாத்தீங்கன்னா டைம் குவாண்டம் 2ல தான் நம்ம ஒரு ப்ராசஸ் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டு அடுத்து வேற ஒரு ப்ராசஸ் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டு அடுத்து வேற ஒரு ப்ராசஸ் டைம் குவாண்டம் 2ல தான் அந்த மாதிரி அதிகமான கான்டெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்விட்சஸ் இருக்கு கம்பேர் டு டைம் குவாண்டம் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு 4 millisecond. So you can analyze this type of round robin algorithm problem and all based on these factors. What are the factors? Waiting time, turnaround time. In this case, the waiting time and turnaround time average is same. So we are saying this same, and then we can compare with the response time. This response time is related to the starvation in the system. So you can compare with it. And after that, with what we can compare? can compare with the number of context switches. Okay, clear? So with all these, you can analyze this round robin scheduling algorithm. All these analysis should be given. Okay? Based on all these factors, analysis should be given. In the question, analysis is asked in the problem. Okay? Next here, this time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. If you see, how we can draw the Gantt chart means. So first at the 0th millisecond, we are having process P1. So in the queue also, the first process which enters is P1, and this P1 will be executed for the time quantum. Okay, wait a minute. Muthumalar, you're on the call, right? Muthumalar? Okay, wait. So one of you has asked a doubt. I will explain that. So in the problem, by mistake, that a non-preemptive is given. Okay, by mistake only that non-preemptive is given. See, in this round robin algorithm, scheduling algorithm problem, we won't have this non-preemptive or preemptive and all. This round robin algorithm problem itself is a preemptive one. Okay, why we are saying it is a preemptive one means because here only the process will be allowed to execute up to the time quantum. After that, it will be switching to other process in the system. Okay. So here, by mistake only in the question, this non-preempt is given. Okay. So some will think that for non-preemptive means the waiting time and the response time will be same. Okay. Don't consider like that. So here, by mistake only in the question is given non-preemptive. This round robin algorithm itself will be a preemptive one. Okay. So by mistake only this non-preemptive line is included in the question. So just remove that non-preemptive word in the question. Okay. So we have to calculate the different values for waiting time and response time. Because this round robin scheduling algorithm itself is a preemptive algorithm only. Okay, clear? I hope now we all be clear with the sort of explanation. Okay, this round robin algorithm is not a non-preemptive algorithm. So I'm repeating again and again. So be clear somewhat. Okay, now I shall continue this time quantum is equal to 2 millisecond. So here the system we are having the first process P1 arrives at the time 0 millisecond. So from 0 to 2, that is with the time quantum 2 millisecond I am executing the process P1. The first process in the queue is also process P1 because it is the one which arrived at 0th millisecond itself. Then after executing up to second millisecond, what is the process arrive the system? P2, P3. Because the arrival time of P3 is 2. So in the queue we need to add. After P1 we'll be adding P2, P3. Okay. After this P1 we'll be adding P2 and P3. And next if you see this P1 has completed only 2 millisecond of its burst time. So remaining will be having 6 millisecond. Remaining it had to execute. So after this P2 and P3 in the queue, we need to add P1 in the queue. Okay. So in this way, in the Gantt chart, we have to next give the process P2. So this process P2 will be executed for the time quantum 2 millisecond. See, this time quantum of 2 millisecond, there is only 2 millisecond of this P2 among the 4 millisecond executed. See, at this time we are having 4th millisecond in the Gantt chart. So up to 4th millisecond, what are the process added in the system? If you see means, after P3 we are having P4 and P5 added in the system. So in the queue I need to add P4 and P5 in the queue. Okay, this P3 also has some remaining time to execute. So after this P4 and P5 in the queue, I'll be adding P2 in the queue for execution. Okay, so next in the queue order, the process P3 will be there. So this process P3 will be executing for the time quantum 2 millisecond. The burst time of this process P3 is also 2 millisecond. So this P3 has completed its execution of 2 millisecond. Okay, and after this P3 in the queue, if you see means here after executing this P3, the Gantt chart will be 6 millisecond. So after this process P5 entering the system, at 6th millisecond if you see, the process P6 also entered the system. So in the queue, after this P2 will be adding P6. Okay. So next, what is the next process in the queue? After P3, the next process in the queue is P1. So this P1 will be executed for time quantum 2 millisecond. Okay. So P1 will be executed from 6 to 8 millisecond. See this P1 after executing another 2 millisecond, it has remaining 4 millisecond of burst time to get completed. So after this P6 we will be including P1 in the queue. Okay. So next entry in the queue after P1 is P4. So this P4 will be executed. So the burst time of P4 itself is 1 millisecond. So it will be executed for the 1 millisecond. That is from 8 to 9 millisecond. And next if you see the process P5. In the queue we are having. So this process P5 will be executed. The time quantum that is from 9 to 11. So after executing this 2 millisecond, remaining we are having 1 millisecond burst time. So this 1 millisecond burst time of process P5 should be executed. So this process P5 will be added at the queue at last. So this process P5 will be included after P1. And next if you see, next after executing this P5 in the queue, we are having process P2 in the queue. So to execute this P2, we are having remaining 2 millisecond burst time. This we are also having the time quantum 2 millisecond. So the speed 2 will be executed from 11 to 13 millisecond. Thus the speed 2 has completed its execution. And next, after the speed 2, in the queue we are having P6. So this P6 process will be executed for its burst time and is also the time quantum 2 millisecond, that is from 13 to 15. Thus the P6 has completed its execution. And next process after this P6 in the queue we are having P1. So this P1, the remaining time at this point will be 4 millisecond. So in this 4th millisecond, according to the time quantum, 2 millisecond will be executed. That is from 15 to 17. Remaining we are having 2 millisecond. So this process P1 needs to get execute this 2 millisecond. So again adding this process P1 into the queue at the last. Okay, next after this P1 in the queue, we are having process P5. This process P5 has the remaining burst time 1 millisecond. So this 1 millisecond burst time will be included. That is 17 to 18. This process P5 will be added in the queue. So after this process P5 in the queue, we will be having the last element in the queue, that is P1. This P1 remaining time at this point will be 2 millisecond. So from 18 to 20, this process P1 will be executed and it has completed its execution. So like this, we have drawn the Gantt chart. So from this, you can compute the completion time and as explained in the previous case itself. Okay. I hope now you'll be familiar for computing all these values. And the next one, 2 mark, which is asked in the IIT is this problem also everyone has written correctly. So I will give a brief explanation for this. So in the question, what is the given? The logical memory has 256 pages. And it is addressed with 4096 words. So to find the logical address space, what we'll be doing? We'll be multiplying the pages and the capacity of word. There is a number of pages into the word. There's 256 into 4096 and you'll be expressing in terms of 2 power. If you express it, you'll be having 20. So the address space is 2 power 20 means logical address space. Then how many bits will be in the logical address? That power value, 20 bits. So in the same way for physical frame, the question is given. The physical address space has 64 frames. As the physical memory has 64 frames. So here we will be assuming that the page size and the frame size are equal. So the page size and the frame size will be 4096 word. So to find the physical address space, we'll be multiplying the number of frames into the word capacity. That is 64 into 4096. We'll be obtaining it in power of 2. While obtaining, we'll be getting 2 power 18. So in this number of bits in physical address, we'll be having the power value is 18. So this is a 18 bits. So I hope now all your IIT problem doubt will be cleared. If you're having any doubt in this, you can ask me. Okay, no one is having any doubt, I hope. Okay, next problem, which most of the student asked doubt is in this disk scheduling algorithm. So I will cover this disk scheduling algorithm, and after that I will I will discuss the remaining algorithm. Okay. So I will see the help of the tutorial problem. So this disk scheduling tutorial problem also many have written wrongly. So I am giving its explanation here. So in this disk scheduling algorithm, what will be the given in the question? Cylinders which need to be accessed. There is a reference cylinders will be given, and the current head position also will be given, and we have to schedule the disk according to the different algorithms. First we will see scheduling by first come first serve algorithm. Okay, for that what you will be drawing? You will be drawing a straight line and you will be drawing all the cylinder position. So question la kuduthirukka ella numberiyum neenga 0 to question la enna specify pannirpaanga, cylinder starts from 0 to 4999. So 0 to 4999 la in between la ungal question la kuduthirukka cylinder positions ellathiyum draw mark pannirveenga in the ascending order. So many in the tutorial ascending order தப்பா பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. ஸோ அசெண்டிங் ஆர்டர்னா இன்க்ரீசிங் ஆர்டர்ல போகணும். ஆனா என்னன்னு தெரியல, உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது இல்லூஷனா என்னன்னு தெரியல, அந்த இன்க்ரீசிங் ஆர்டரே தப்பா கொடுத்துருக்கீங்க. ஸோ இதுல ஏதாவது சின்ன கேர்லெஸ் மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணாலுமே இந்த ஹோல் ப்ராப்ளம்க்கு 0 மார்க் தான் கிடைக்கும். ஓகே, ஸோ அதனால நீங்க கேர்ஃபுல்லா பார்த்து அதை அசெண்டிங் ஆர்டர் ஒரு இன்க்ரீசிங் ஆர்டர்ல கேர்ஃபுல்லா பார்த்து அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணும் போதும் அது கொலைட் ஆகாத மாதிரி அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணுங்க. So on the given cylinder request arrange பண்ணிட்டு as well as the current head position also we have to include. Here the current head position is 2150. We have to include it also. So here the first case is we are going to do by first come first serve algorithm. So first come first serve algorithm means the request which comes first will be served first. So here we have to start from the current head position, which is the current head position given in the question 2150. See here I have marked a dot in the 2150 position. So from 2150, which is the first request in the given string 2069. So from 2150 it should go to 2069 and then to 1212. So here correct on the 1212 and the position ku nera mark பண்ணுங்க. So some have used this dotted lines. ஸோ கரெக்டாக அங்கே தான் மார்க் பண்ணியிருக்கேனான்னு யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு டாட்டட் லைன். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு புரியுறதுக்காக டாட்டட் லைன் போட்டிங்கன்னா அந்த டாட்டட் லைனை பென்சிலால் ட்ரா பண்ணிட்டு சம் கம்ப்ளீட்டாக முடிச்சதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த இதை எரேஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ இந்த டாட்டட் லைன் இந்த லைன்ஸ் எல்லாமே கோயின்சைட் ஆகி அது ப்ராப்ளமே வேற மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் ஆகிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஓகே, டாட்டட் லைனை மேக்ஸிமம் அவாய்ட் பண்ணுங்க. இல்லை எனக்கு டாட்டட் லைன் போட்டால் தான் எனக்கு தெரியும் அந்த நம்பருக்கு நேராக நான் ட்ரா பண்ணுறேன்னா டாட்டட் லைன் பென்சிலால் ட்ரா பண்ணிட்டு தென் எரேஸ் இட். ஓகே, so then from 1 to 12, and after that in the request queue request we are having 2296. So this 2296 will be serviced, and after that 2296 we are having 2800. Don't forget to draw the arrow. So இங்க என்ன பண்ண மறக்காம டிரா பண்ணணும் arrow mark. So எந்த பொசிஷன்ல இருந்து எந்த பொசிஷன் போகுதுன்னு arrow தான் இண்டிகேட் பண்ணுது. So அந்த arrowவோட நீங்க அந்த பாயிண்ட் மார்க் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும். So 2800 ல இருந்து எங்க போகுது 544. So 544, and then from 544 it goes to 1618, and then after this 1618 it goes to 356. After 356 it goes to 1523. After 1523 it goes to 4965. After 4965 it goes to 3681. Then after 3681, it goes to 2487. After 2487, it went to 678. And then the disk head moves to 4009. And at last, which is the last request, 3489. Like this, the request will be serviced from the current head portion to the request given in the question. Okay. So இந்த பத்தி நம்ம பண்ணிட்டு நம்ம லாஸ்ட் என்ன கண்டுபிடிக்க சொல்லுவாங்க? They will be asking us to calculate the total head movement. Okay. So total head movement they will ask to calculate. So for calculating this total head movement, usually you have to subtract from the larger value to the smaller value. So the tutorial, many have done mistake in this also. So நீங்க larger value, smaller value தப்பா போட்டீங்கன்னா you will be entering all these value in the calculator. Then that value will become, for example, 2150 minus 2069 பதில 2069 minus 2150 நீ enter பண்ணிடுவீங்க. அந்த subtract பண்ணி வர number வேணா சேமா இருக்கலாம், but the sign will be minus. So add ஆகும் என்ன ஆகும்? Subtract ஆகும். நீங்க calculatorல என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? எல்லாத்தையுமே வரிசையா நீங்க போடுவீங்க. So அப்போ மைனஸ் ஆகும்போது உங்களுக்கு டோட்டல் வேல்யூ தப்பா வர சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. So அதனால தான் I'm stressing again and again, in the total head movement you have to write first the larger value minus the smaller value. Okay. So here in this problem, from 2150 to 2069, so 2150 minus 2069 plus 2069 to 1253, sorry 1212. So 2069 minus 1212. Then from 1212, the disk head went to 2296. So here, which is the larger value? 2296 minus 1212. Like this, you can calculate the total head movement. And that value of the total head movement should have a unit cylinders, because we are going to traverse our disk head across 19865 cylinders. So you have to mention it in terms of cylinders. So நீங்க எப்படி லென்த்னா சென்டிமீட்டர், மீட்டர், கிலோமீட்டர் மென்ஷன் பண்றீங்களோ, the total head movement also has a unit cylinders. Okay. So you have to specify that also in the answer. So many have written this question correctly. So in this case, the shortest seek time first only many have written wrongly in the tutorial problem. So I am stressing this tutorial problem because means this tutorial problem we didn't ask in this IIT 1. It might be asked in the IIT 2. So you shouldn't learn it wrong in a wrong manner itself. Okay. So correct எது கரெக்டான வேன்னு சொல்லி learn பண்றது தான் இந்த கிளாஸ் உங்களுக்கு நான் டீச் பண்றேன். So everyone listen carefully. You might have known all these things, but listen this carefully. So in between I may say some key points and all. Okay. So everyone listen. So for this shortest seek time first algorithm, how we will be performing? We'll be seeing the shortest seek time from the current head portion. So what is the current head portion? 2150. So in the problem in the same way, from 0 to 4999 will be drawing. In between the increasing order. Don't forget to write in an increasing order. The test and all you might have in a tension, you will be writing the reverse order. So be careful and write in an increasing order, because in tutorial also many have written in the not the increasing order. Okay. So pay attention to it and write it clearly or properly. Okay. So here from 2150, if you have marked this 0 to 4999 correctly itself, you can simply use this SSTF algorithm and draw this. Okay. இதை நீங்க கரெக்டா வரைஞ்சாலே the 2150க்கு எது நியரஸ்ட் நீங்க பாத்துடலாம். 2150க்கு நியரஸ்ட் பாத்தீங்கன்னா it will be either the previous one 2069 or 2296. So இதுல எப்படி ஷார்ட்டஸ்ட் கண்டுபிடிப்பீங்க? You will be subtracting the value. 2150 க்கும் 2069 க்கும் என்ன distance கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்கு? 2150 minus 2069 will be giving that value. Will be having some value, and then 2296 minus 2150 will be having the value, and we'll be comparing that those value. இந்த ரெண்டு வேல்யூல எது ஸ்மாலா இருக்கோ, because we are going for shortest seek time. So எந்த வேல்யூ ஸ்மாலா இருக்கும், so அங்கதான் எங்க போகணும்? Disk head should go on. So in this case, if I see, so everyone mute your volume. From 2150, the disk head goes to the shortest. So இங்க subtract பண்ணும்போது எந்த வேல்யூ கம்மியா இருக்குன்னா 2069 க்கு போறதா கம்மியா இருக்கு. ஓகே, so it went to 2069. so இங்க 2069 ல இருந்து we are having the previous one 1618 எங்க போகலாம் 1618 க்கு போகலாம் இல்லனா 2296 போகலாம். இது ரெண்டுல ஏதாவது ஒன்னு தான் ஷார்ட்டஸ்ட் சீக் டைமா இருக்க போகுது. சோ அதை எப்படி கண்டுபிடிப்பீங்க? this 2069 minus 1618, so you will find that value. Then this 2296 minus 2069. சோ நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்கன்னா எல்லாருமே இதுக்கு பக்கத்துல என்ன இருக்கு 1618, ஆனா அது பக்கத்துல இங்க டயகிராம்ல தெரிஞ்சாலும் the distance between 2069 and 1618 is larger compared to the distance between 2296 and 2069. சோ அதான் ரெண்டு வேலையும் சப்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணி பார்த்து எது ஸ்மாலரா இருக்கோ அங்கதான் உங்க டிஸ்கட் மூவ் ஆகணும். சோ அந்த கரெக்டா சப்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணி பாருங்க. ஓகே, சோ அதான் நிறைய பேர் மிஸ்டேக் பண்றீங்க. அது பக்கத்துல எது இருக்குன்னு ஜஸ்ட் நீங்க பாக்குறீங்க. அந்த பக்கத்துல இருக்கிற ஹெட்டுமே smaller value இருக்கான்னு செக் பண்ணி பார்க்கணும். Okay, so after this if you see here also you have to compare this 2296 இருந்து எங்க போகலாம் 1618 க்கு போகலாம் இல்ல 2486. so நீங்க ஒவ்வொரு தடவையும் கால்குலேட்டர்ல போட்டு தான் சப்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணனும் அவசியம் இல்ல. so approximate you can have this value, this 2296 and 2487. so approximately it is 200 value difference இருக்கு. and 2296 ல இருந்து 1618 is approximately 600 value difference இருக்கு. so இது நீங்க லாஜிக்கலா பார்த்தாலுமே just approximate value ல பார்த்தாலே your head should go to 2487. so previous case நம்ம என்ன பார்த்துட்டோம் 1618 வந்து farther than 2487. so அப்ப என்னதான் இருக்கும் இந்த டைரக்ஷன்ல தான் போய் ஆகணும் அப்படி சொல்லி you'll be going. so while going to this you'll be checking this value. இது பக்கத்துல இருக்கு நம்ம செக் பண்ணி போயிட்டு இருப்போம். okay, so like this you'll be drawing this shortest seek time first algorithm. so you have to subtract these values and you'll be finding the total head movement. and next in the case scan algorithm. so I hope everyone have forgotten the concept of scan algorithm. scan algorithm வந்து அந்த கான்செப்ட்ஸ் பத்தி தான் நம்ம வந்து போனோம். அந்த கான்செப்டே நீங்க மறந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு scan algorithmல. see how we have to do the scan algorithm. the scan algorithm will be go from the position along the disk head movement. so for the scan algorithm we have to consider the previous head also. this tutorial also many have written wrongly the scan algorithm. so the current disk head is at 2150 தான் current disk head. previous head எந்த பொசிஷன்ல இருக்கு 2825. so 2825 ல இருந்து it had moved to 2150. previous 2825 ல இருந்து 2150 க்கு மூவ் ஆயிருக்கு. so அப்போ 2825 ல இருந்து 2150 க்கு மூவ் ஆச்சுனா it is going towards which side? left side, that is towards 0 போயிட்டு இருக்கு. so previous request எந்த சைடுல போகுதோ scan algorithm follows the same direction. okay, scan algorithm follows the same direction as the previous head moves to the current head. so previous head 2825 ல இருந்து 2150 க்கு மூவ் ஆயிருக்கு. so the same direction தான் traverse பண்ணனும். okay, so 2825 ல இருந்து towards 0 னால 2150 க்கு மூவ் ஆயிருக்கு. so அப்ப இந்த கேஸ்லயே நம்ம கொடுத்திருக்க ரெக்வெஸ்ட் எப்படி satisfy பண்ணி ஆகணும் 2150 ல இருந்து towards 0 க்கு we have to traverse. so in between there is a request means it will be processing that request also. so இப்போ இங்க 2150 ல இருந்து towards 0 க்கு போகும்போது in between என்னென்ன பாயிண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும் so அதெல்லாம் நீங்க டாட் மார்க் பண்ணிட்டு and you can mark that arrow also towards that direction only. and in this scan algorithm it will goes to 0 also. 0 request இருந்தாலும் இல்லனாலும் எங்க போகும் 0 க்கு போகும். okay, the scan algorithm after going to the 0 it will be going in the reverse direction, that is towards the last cylinder 4999. so while going towards the last cylinder 4999 what is the request in between? it will be accessed. okay, this is in case of scan algorithm. in the scan algorithm you no need to go for 4999 because we don't have any request after this 4999 or at the 4999 cylinder. so you no need to go to this 4999. okay, clear? so the scan algorithm will see the previous head and it will see the current head. So previous head la irundha current head ku எந்த direction towards 0 போயிருக்கா இல்ல towards last value போயிருக்கான்னு பார்த்து அந்த directionல தான் traverse ஆகும் this scan algorithm. Okay, clear? So here also you can calculate the total head movement in the same way. And next, if you see the C-scan. So C-scan, what is the concept? In C-scan algorithm, from the current head position, it goes in the increasing order. Okay, C-scan la enna pogum current head position la irundhu increasing order la ulla disk request எல்லாத்தையும் service பண்ணிட்டு அப்படி increasing order la pogum. So if you see this C-scan algorithm, increasing order means 2150 இருந்து எங்க தான் போகும் towards 4999. It is the last. So அதுல increasing order la போயிட்டு so அதுல in between வர request எல்லாம் satisfy பண்ணிட்டே போகும். So after going this 4999, here the C-scan is a circular scan algorithm. So after this 2999, immediately we'll be having 0. Okay, so that only after this 4999, immediate எங்க போகணும் 0 க்கு போகணும். அதுக்கு in betweenல வர எந்த requestயும் satisfy பண்ண கூடாது. This C-scan algorithm. Okay, then after going to the 0, it will be going towards this 4999 again. So that request irundha, that request will be processed. So up to where we are having the request, up to that we'll be having the disk head movement also. So நம்ம last request process பண்ற வரைக்கும் இந்த C-scan ல போகும். So I'm repeating again, C-scan will goes in increasing order, that is towards the last disk cylinder. And after that it will, from the last cylinder, it immediately goes to the 0. It doesn't process any request in between. Okay, after 0 only it will be servicing the request. Okay, clear about the C-scan? Next, the same way also here we can calculate the total head movement and it should be represented in cylinders. Next, if you see the C-look algorithm. So in the C-look algorithm, this is a variation of C-scan algorithm. Here in the C-look algorithm, we no need to go to the last head movement. The C-look algorithm will also traverse towards the increasing order. Increasing order na inga current disk head வந்து எங்க இருக்கு 2150. So 2150 வந்து increasing order. That is towards 4999 க்கு தான் போகும். But இந்த C-look algorithm ல எங்க போக மாட்டோம் last 4999 க்கு. Unless there is a request on that position 4999, we won't go to 4999. 4999 ல ஏதா request இருந்தா மட்டும் தான் அந்த 4999 க்கு போகும். இல்லனா 4999 க்கு போகவே போகாது. Okay, so இங்க 4999 ல request இல்ல. So அதனால 4999 position போகாம, so this is also circular look algorithm. So after going to that last, it immediately goes to the first request, not to 0. Okay, C-look வந்து எங்க போகாது 0 or 4999. அந்த last end, first end or last end request இருந்தா மட்டும் தான் 0 or 4999 க்கு போகும். Request இல்லனா 0 or 4999, அந்த ரெண்டு பொசிஷனுக்குமே disk head won't go at all. Okay, so here from 4965 it will go to 365. That is the first request. So after processing that first request, it will go to 544, and after that, after the last request, it will be going the similar way. We'll be calculating the total head movement, the cylinders, in terms of cylinders. Okay, whether anyone has a doubt in this scheduling algorithm, I have posted all the solution for IIT and all the tutorials in the Moodle in the corresponding section. Okay, you may refer it in the future also. Okay, if you have any doubt in any one of the algorithm, you can ask me. I'll explain it. Okay, I hope no one has any doubt in it. Okay, next we'll see. Till now you're confusing in the page replacement algorithm. So next I shall explain that page replacement algorithm. Okay. So here and all I have taken one of the your submitted tutorial, which is having the correct solution. I have taken it. Okay. Respect of the name only, I have taken the correct answer. So don't think ma'am have taken her paper or ma'am have taken his paper. Okay. So here, if you see this LRU page replacement algorithm. So in the question, the reference string will be given. In LRU, that is least recently used page replacement algorithm. What we'll be doing? We'll be replacing the page which is not used recently. So in the LRU enna paapom? We'll be seeing the past pages. Okay, this least recently used algorithm will see the past pages. So past pages, if you see, means we will see the example given the tutorial problem. I will explain this with the same example. This is LRU replacement algorithm. Here in the question also it is given 3 frames are there. So I am having 3 frames. Initially the 3 frames are empty. So we have to enter the pages in the reference string one by one into the frames. So that we are having the first frame. So page 1 will be entering it, then page 2 will be entering it, then page 3 will be entering it. Then after having this 1, 2, 3 pages in the frames, we are having 4th page in the reference string. This 4th page in the reference string is not available in the frame. So we need to bring this 4th page into the frame. For that what we will be doing? We will be checking the past pages. So இந்த 4க்கு previous உள்ள pages எது recent use பண்ணல. So இதுல எந்த pages இருக்கு? 1, 2, 3. So among this 1, 2, 3 pages which is not used recently. So for that I am going before this 4 in the reference string. So before this 4 we are having 3. So this 3 is used recently. So we shouldn't replace this 3rd page. Before this 3 we are having 2. This 2 is also used recently, so we shouldn't replace. So other than this 2 and 3, what is the other frame in the block? We are having 1. So this page 1 is replaced with page 4. And next, after this page 4 in the reference string, we are having page 2. So this page 2 is already in the block, so we no need to replace it. After this page 2, we are having page 1. This page 1 is not in the block, so we have to bring it into the block. For that, using this LRU algorithm, we'll be seeing the past pages. So before 1 in the reference string, I'm having 2. This 2 is recently used, so shouldn't replace this 2. So before this 2, I'm having 4. This 4 is also recently used, so I shouldn't replace 4 and 2 pages. So other than this, what page I can replace? Page 3. So in the frame, I'm replacing the page 3 with page 1. So the newly formed block contains the pages 4 to 1. After this, first page in the reference string, I'm having page 5. So this page 5 is also not available in the frame. I need to bring this page 5 into the frame. For that, what I need to do? I need to replace any one page which is not recently used. So I'm seeing before this page 5, I'm having 1. This page 1 is recently used, so shouldn't replace. So before this page 1, I'm having page 3 in the reference, page 2 in the reference string. So this page 2 and 1 is recently used, so shouldn't replace this page 2 and 1. Other than this page 4 is not recently used compared to the other 2 pages 2 and 1. So I can replace this page 4 by page 5. So the newly formed block contains the pages 5 to 1. After this, in the reference string, after page 5, I am having page 6. So after this page 6, this page 6 is not available in the frame. I need to include this page 6. So I am looking into the past pages. See, this 5 is available before 6 in the reference string. So shouldn't replace 5. Before this 5, I am having 1. This 1 also recently used. So other than this 5 and 1, I can replace the page 2 in the block by page 6. Likewise, we are seeing the recently used, that is the past pages for this least recently used algorithm. Okay, for this we can count the number of page fault occurred by means of the number of newly drawn block. Okay, you have to draw a block, and if you are having a page replacement only, you have to draw a block. Otherwise, you shouldn't draw a block at all. Then only it will be easy for counting the page fault. So in this case, if I count means I'll be having 15 page fault. Okay. Then this optimal replacement. So we have discussed this optimal replacement algorithm with the IIT1 problem. So I hope now you understood the concept of this optimal replacement algorithm. So the same way you can solve the tutorial problem also. So anyone have doubt in this problem? The page replacement problem, LRU replacement or optimal page replacement program, you can ask me. Okay, after this, we shall see the first in first out replacement algorithm. So many are confusing the first in first out replacement algorithm and least recently used algorithm. Don't confuse it with. So in the first in first out algorithm, it is a simple algorithm. So from the name itself, we are saying the page which enters the frame first will be replaced first. Okay, the frame which enters the page which enters the frame first will be replaced first. So highlight that word enter, not recently used, entered. Okay, எந்த page வந்து first enter ஆச்சோ frameல அதுதான் first என்ன பண்ணணும் replace பண்ணணும். enter பண்றதா நீங்க பார்க்கணும். அந்த stringல வந்ததை நீங்க பார்க்க கூடாது. stringல வந்தது நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா that becomes recently used algorithm. Okay, so be careful in it. So here if I see means I am seeing with the reference string this first on first out algorithm. Here also we are having 3 empty frames. So 1, 2, 3 is occupied firstly and after that I am having 4. So here I need to see the first entered page. Okay, entered page தான் நான் first பார்க்கணும். First recent use பண்ண page பார்க்க கூடாது. Okay, so இப்போ 1, 2, 3 பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த 1, 2, 3ல எது first enter ஆச்சு 1. So அதனால I am replacing this one first page by fourth page. After this 4 I am having 2. This in the reference stream I am having 2. After this 4, then this 2, page 2 is already available in the frame, so no need for replacement. So after this 2 in the reference stream I am having 1. So everyone listen carefully. This only many of you are making mistake. So here in the reference string I am having 1, but this first page is not in the block. In the block at this point of time I am having 4, 2, 3. So among this 4, 2, 3 I have to see which entered the frame first. So for seeing this I have to see the newly drawn block and the corresponding top pages. சரியா, இப்போ 1 நான் என்டர் பண்ணனும் அந்த ஃப்ரேம்ல. நான் அப்ப என்ன பண்ண கூடாது, இந்த 1க்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு 2 வந்து நான் பார்க்க கூடாது. அந்த 2 வந்து என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம், நம்ம ரீசெண்டா யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஆனா அந்த 2 வந்து என்ன பண்ணல, அப்பதான் என்டர் ஆகல. 2 ஆல்ரெடியே என்டர் ஆயிடுச்சு. அந்த 1க்கு முன்னாடி உள்ள 2 ரெஃபரன்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல இருக்குது. அந்த 2 ஸ்டார்டிங்ல என்ன ஆச்சு, என்டர் ஆயிட்டு. அந்த டைம்ல தான் 2 என்டர் ஆகல. அதனால அந்த 2 வந்து நம்ம என்ன பண்ணக்கூடாது, கன்சிடர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஐ எம் ரிப்பீட்டிங் அகைன், the reference string I'm having 1. So இந்த 1க்கு முன்னாடி page 2 இருக்கு ரெஃபரன்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல. இந்த 2 நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம், அந்த டைம்ல தான் நம்ம இன்சர்ட் பண்ணல. இந்த 2 முன்னாடியே இன்சர்ட் பண்ணிருக்கோம் ஃப்ரேம்ல, ஆனா அப்போ நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டோம். சோ அப்ப அத நம்ம என்ன பண்ண கூடாது, கன்சிடர் பண்ண கூடாது. சோ அத கன்சிடர் பண்ணாம நம்ம புதுசா எந்த பிளாக் டிராம் பண்ணிருக்கோமோ அதுக்கு மேல உள்ள நம்பர்ஸை மட்டும் இந்த கேஸ்ல நம்ம பார்த்துட்டு வந்தா இட் வில் பி ஈஸி ஃபார் அஸ். ஓகே, சோ இந்த 4 to 3ல 4 தான் லாஸ்டா பேஜ்ல என்டர் ஆச்சு. சோ அதுக்கு முன்னாடி 3 தான் லாஸ்டா பேஜ்ல என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு. சோ இப்போ 4ம் 3ம் தான் லாஸ்டா என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு. 2 சாரி, அப்போ எது ஃபர்ஸ்டா என்டர் ஆச்சு, பேஜ் 2 தான் ஃபர்ஸ்டா என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு. ஆனா நம்ம என்னது, இந்த 1க்கு முன்னாடி ரெஃபரன்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரிங்கோட 2 வந்து என்னது நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோமே தவிர அங்க என்டர் ஆகல. சோ கிளியர், அந்த 2 வந்து என்டர் ஆகல, நம்ம யூஸ் தான் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஓகே, so with this if you see in this case instead of 2 only we are going to replace this page 1. So the newly formed block contains the frames 4, 1, 3. After this 4, 1, 3 after this first page in the reference string I am having 5. So இப்போ என்ன, fifth block fifth page is not in the frame. I need to insert it into the frame. So that I need to see among this 4, 1, 3, which one entered first into the frame. So first is a first page தான் இப்போ ரீசெண்டா தான் என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு. ஸோ அதை ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஸோ அதுக்கு அடுத்து நீங்க அந்த பிளாக் டிராப் பண்ணியிருக்கிறதுக்கு மேல தான் பார்க்கணும். ஓகே, இப்போ 4 தான் அதுக்கு அடுத்து என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு. அப்போ என்னது 1 4 ரீசெண்டா தான் என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு, லாஸ்டா என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு. அப்போ எது ஃபர்ஸ்டா என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு 3, அதனால this 5 is replaced by 3. Okay, this way you have to see the which first block enter ஆனதா நீங்க பார்க்கணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எதை நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோம் நம்ம பார்க்க கூடாது. ஓகே, so in this way only this first in first out replacementல நிறைய பேர் மிஸ்டேக் பண்றீங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எது என்டர் ஆயிருக்கு ஃப்ரேம்குள்ள அதுதான் நம்ம பார்க்கணும். ஓகே, you shouldn't see first used, first entered only should be replaced first using first in first out page replacement algorithm. And the same way you can count the number of newly drawn blocks and you can write the number of page fault associated with this. Okay, next I hope everyone will be familiar of this some algorithms. So remaining algorithm is easy only, I think so. I'll just give a quick recap of all those algorithms. Okay, the process scheduling algorithm many have written this correctly. First come first serve algorithm. This is a process. So எல்லா ப்ராப்ளமும் இன்னைக்கு ஒரே நாள்ல பார்க்கணும், கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆகாதீங்க. I hope at this stage you should be familiar with all the problem individually. So எல்லாத்தையுமே நீங்க கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, because we have completed 4 units. We are having only this 5th unit in our hand to complete. Okay, so you should be well thorough in all the problems which you have seen separately. You shouldn't confuse one problem with the other. Okay, so if you see this process scheduling means first come first serve, everyone have written correctly. That is based upon the arrival time. You have drawn the Gantt chart and you have calculated the values. The shortest job also you have written in a correct way. That is given with the arrival time. So the 0th arrival time, which process is that? It will be running in the CPU. This shortest job first and the first come first serve and all is a non-preemptive algorithm. So only after completing that process execution, other process may execute in the CPU. Okay, so after completing the first process which arrived in the system, because in the shortest job first, the first 0th point of time will be having only one process, maybe P1 in the system. So that process only will be executing. After its execution only, depending upon the time, we'll be comparing the burst time of the process. And which burst time is smaller, that process will be executing in a sequential way. That is by using shortest job first algorithm. The next one is shortest remaining time first algorithm. So this shortest remaining time first algorithm, so some have written correctly and some have written wrongly. So here it is a preemptive type algorithm. Okay, here the shortest remaining time first algorithm, first we will be seeing at the time 0 which process is there in the system. We are having only process P1. So this process P1 will be executing. Here this is a preemptive algorithm, so it should be stopped for the entry of other process. So second process P2 வந்து first millisecond arrive ஆகுது. So 0 to 1 வரைக்கும் மட்டும் தான் என்ன பண்ணணும், இந்த first process run ஆகும். So அந்த 1 first millisecond அப்புறம் என்ன process run ஆகும், P2 process. நம்ம செக் பண்ணுவோம் எதுல remaining time இருக்கு, நம்ம செக் பண்ணுவோம் கம்மியா இருக்கு, just the shortest remaining time. So in this case, which has the shortest remaining time, P1. So this P1 is allowed to execute. That is up to the next arrival time 2 millisecond. Okay, and after this 2 millisecond, we'll be having process P3 also in the system. So we'll be checking the 3 process P1, P2, P3 among this which has the shortest remaining time, and that will be executing. Like this, the process will be executing in the Gantt chart. If we see in some cases, we may have the same burst time or the same minimum burst time for 2 process. In that time, we'll be going by means of the smallest process number. Okay, the process which has the smallest process number will be executing first in the system. Like this, we'll be doing this shortest remaining time first algorithm. Next, priority scheduling algorithm. That is based upon the priority level given in the question. And the question itself, sometimes they will be given H and L. This H represents the high level. So if it is marked here the largest number, then the largest number has the largest priority in this, and the smallest number is marked as L, means it has the least priority. So in some cases, there may be a alternation also. There is the smallest number also may have H value near it. Then the smallest number will have highest priority in that problem, and the greatest number will have the lowest priority. So depending upon the question, you should go this priority scheduling algorithm. Okay. So based on this priority scheduling, we have seen two types. One is a non-preemptive, another one is preemptive type. Non-preemptive type is the easy one. That will be scheduling in the CPU based on the priority level. But if you see at the 0th millisecond, you'll be having the only one process P1. So it will be executed. After that, based on the priority level, the other process will be executing in the system. This is by using priority scheduling in terms of non-preemptive case. Then if you see the priority scheduling of preemptive case. Preemptive means so before completing a particular process, its execution, another process can execute in the CPU. Okay. If you see like that, we can have this preemptive scheduling. This in priority scheduling, if you see means at 0th millisecond, we'll be having process P1 only. And after that, process P2 arrives in the system at 1st millisecond. So at 1st millisecond, we have to stop and we have to check whether the P1 or P2, which has highest priority. Here in the question, H has the highest priority, which is given in the largest number. So the largest number has the highest priority. So according to the priority level of P1 and P2, 5 is the priority level of P1 and 3 is the priority level of P2. By comparing it, the process P1 will be executing again. Phone number. Okay. Here if you see means like this, you will be scheduling in the preemptive way in this Gantt chart. Okay. So we will be stopping for the next arrival time and we will be doing. Then this round robin algorithm we have seen already. From this IIT test itself. This Banker's algorithm, I hope everyone will be familiar with it. Otherwise, we will continue it in the next session. Okay. So anyone has doubt in today's class means you can ask me. If you have any doubt in today's problem.